So, we will now move on to our second presenter today. And that is Jon Labrousse. And I've known Jon for quite a few years too, yeah. I first met Jon back in 2012 when I was searching for poets to participate in my very first poetry showcase at Eugene Public Library. And I was looking for diverse poets. I wanted to be inclusive of all the poetry styles in Eugene. And Jon was referred to me as one of the finest Eugene slam poets, having won the Slam Poetry Championship here in Eugene in 2004? Yeah, and 5 and 6. So I invited Jon to participate, and he was definitely an audience favorite. I've invited him as a featured reader again when I was hosting the third Saturday reading series at Tsunami Books after Charles Thielman turned it over to several of us to host when he left for California for a while. And he was also a feature when I produced and hosted the poetry stage at Festival of Eugene. And then he returned the following year with his fantastic student ukulele group, True, the Ridgeline Ukulele Extravaganza, who participated in my K-12 Young Readers event. And Jon is also a father and local Montessori middle school teacher. My wife and I have commented to each other after seeing posts about him on Facebook how much we wish we had a teacher like him when we were in school. He's pretty amazing. Again, I will say you're in for a real treat. And Jon sent me a short bio, which says, Jon Labrousse is a lover of life and words. His recent poetry strips away the flashy fanfare of his years on the local and national poetry slam scene. Intimacy and authenticity are the core of his way in the world. Each poem will feel like a warm, wet kiss on the mouth. Please give a warm welcome to Jon Labrousse.
So this is kind of an interesting shift for me. I haven't read poetry for a long time, and when I did, it was slam poetry is what I was doing, performance poetry. Stuff that was written specifically for performance. And it's, I've been writing a lot of different stuff lately. It's been a wild year. I was divorced about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, from my wife of 27 years. So just a lot of change and a lot of things going on for me. And so, and it's been good. It's been a really good thing, actually. And so as I was going back through the poetry that I've been writing this last year, and I've been writing a lot of poetry, what emerged for me as the story that I thought I would share with you really is the shift in the work from these longer 3-minute performance pieces to these just really stripped down, small, little 32-syllable poems that read almost like haiku, but not at all like haiku. It's almost twice the length of a haiku, but the ability to work within that restriction and to look for something and look for openings in different ways in that form. Form's fun for that. Just really, this is all you got, and here's the end, and you've got to shift words around, and the value of each word in the poem becomes pretty massive. And so what the other thing that's happened, so it's that, just the journey that I've taken with that and working with that form has been really fun. But what started to emerge in terms of subject matter and stuff is what really kind of grabbed me in terms of what I want to share with you today. So I met the love of my life also last year, and that shift for me from being in really an abusive relationship to finding love again in a way that has just kind of opened up my entire being to love again. And so what I thought I'd do is I'd share that experience with you. So I've kind of picked and culled through. Back in February I did an art show, and this is my first. It was, what I'd done is I had all these poems that I'd written for Amy, and I wrote them on all kinds of different scraps of paper, because one of the things, I think her daughter just read her out, she put a note on my car, which she's wont to do, we get these little notes all the time, all over the place, and it's something we do for each other. It's also just been wonderful. So I had all these scraps of paper, and from envelopes and business cards and all over the place, that I wrote these little poems all over for display at a local gallery for a love show back in February. So that's going to kind of be the centerpiece of what I'm going to read today, where we're going to head to. But what I want to do is take a step back first, because I found this, as I'm going through this stuff, what I've been trying to do too, part of the reason that I'm doing these short poems, is this process of writing every day. You know, William Stafford wrote a poem every day, right? It was like part of the thing, it's going to happen. And that's been really important to me. So, as I'm going back through this stuff, and I found this poem that I wrote before I was divorced, that just really, it's really clear where things are headed for me. And I didn't know that when I wrote this that I was actually, that it was Amy that was going to come along and was going to be the person. Let me get my technology working here. There we go. So this is called, What Good is the Wind Without Wings? I gathered every fabric of my being and wove it into an elaborate approximation of eternity, convenient with pockets. Infinity can't hold out forever, I figured, so I packed a lunch and leapt off the balcony, eternity outstretched and took to the wind, sun flaring off my shoulders like Las Vegas. I was brilliant with possibility, unfettered and unfurled, determined this time to follow the wind back to its beginning, because that's where I found you, at the start of everything that matters. I circled the globe 70 times before settling in a grassy field, surrounded by apple blossoms, and ate my salami sandwich. The sunlight felt like tomorrow, so I wrapped eternity around me and slept until you found me. Thanks. And so these are just going to be a bunch of poems that I wrote, kind of moving into this and thinking about what love is and finding what love is. And so this is called Eye of the Beholder. If, as quantum physicists and neuroscientists would have us believe, there is no such thing as objective reality and nothing exists except as a manifestation of my sensory experience, then the path I'm walking on through deep green woods around me, littered with ferns and pink and yellow wildflowers, air accented with birdsong and the buzz and hum of insects and movement, sun warm in patches against my skin, the brush of the wind and the sweet, clean smell of earth and decay it carries are mere figments of my perception. Even the mosquito feasting from my wrist, whether I like it or not, doesn't exist without my experience. And you, walking alongside me on the path, holding my hand, humoring me with loud laughter and tugs and punches in the shoulder, pointing out irises and orchids I missed along the way, stopping me dead in my tracks before I step on a newt. If I were alone on the path, would you cease to exist? Would I? This is no fairy tale. This was for you. What you didn't know about love was you are the center of the universal need to be at once upon a time with this world. Rainbows don't know what to do with your current disposition. When you laugh out loud, you worry nervous pets with your levity. Like a cloud, you wander, raining where dried-up drug addicts cry for absolution, nourish their souls with positive expectations. You dance barefoot in fading light in your soft backyard grass. Wind-swept daffodils join you to the beat of frog song, calling me to you. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to read a series of poems that was the art display, and they're all very short. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go through and I'm going to read these. This is the thing that was overwhelming to me, was going back and reading these out loud and getting ready for this. because they're all really short poems. I'm like, I can't get up there and read a bunch of short poems. It's weird, right? And I've got 20 minutes to read short little poems, and you're clapping after each little poem. It's kind of an awkward thing. But kind of, these aren't in any particular order. But as I go through these, I just want you to hold till the end, please. But as I go through these, the way they build up and the experience, the overwhelming experience that I had reading these out loud to myself in the house, and just this feeling of like, holy crap, this is it. Like I'm in love with this woman. It was just super fun, and so I thought I'd try to share that with you. Ultra prepared. The world needs your strong heart. It beats in calming time with the rabblest of us. Your smile is a weapon of mass construction. You are superheroic. Don't wake up. What isn't dreaming if not love? Water painted by butterfly kisses on bright torn cheeks, stretched tight drums sounding out each rhythmic stroke. What I found. Waves have taught me to love the shore it shapes, breaks, returns to. Nothing we waste is forgotten. We find polished pieces in our ruins. Primitive. Touch is just fingers on the strings of our human instrument, delighting I love you from our chest cave. Between doses, I will rely on muscle memory of your bone structure and the fractal language of our skin, and the fractal language our skin speaks to recreate you until. Why not when? Baby, when I kiss you, I am ripped from the whomever wondered why I chose your third eye against sun blindness. Bite my tongue to hold back the flood wipes almost everything from my working nonsense receptor's tongue, dipped in purified nothing. Small manners more than birds who spend time mostly resting, not flying. When? It's like, why won't they fly? When they can fly, why not fly? Not lost. World pretends money matters more than atoms dancing together in our arms. Your breath fulfills me. Please whisper my name. I'll find you. Makes you stronger. World weighs heavier some days when you turn the whole thing over on your shoulders and try to sink to the moon. You'll never make it, but the limit. When the swift wind takes you, seasoned you, long-winded you, how do you respond? Do you blow into a wreck, or do you unfurl your hopeful wings and fly? Surmountable. My skin knows every inch of your build, so please explain clouds, rainbows, tomorrow. Leave no wherewithal out of the question. Become we. Reality check. The sun won't set without you. Get your gut together. Believe you are the moon, shaping shadows in complete control of all water. Direct current. Every inch of us engages in living. Fingertips to lips, tongue to skin, to believe alive is plugged in. Fully charged. Unsettled. My insoluble ego dissolves in your warm water. I am more than salt and disarray. Stirred up, the best of me rises, becomes. This is cracking up. Mount Bliss. This is, oh my God, John, I can't believe it. Okay. Lip gloss isn't nearly enough to prepare my mouth for all of you. There are Sherpas and O2 tanks required to surmount your peaks. Oh my. Oh, love. Home. There's a direct line between our souls. These bodies' dramas they've lived are nothing compared to we've returned to where we are going. Feast. Wherever I am, you are home. Welcome to feast from lips and fridge, cupboards and headboards until you are fulfilled for now, forever. Buoyant. The heavy settles out of my body through the soles of my feet, deep into the earth where we wait, where the weight of the world belongs when we kiss. What isn't dust? After the rest have settled, your ecstatically charged particles will dance in the wind, projecting more light than you are reflecting. Look up. The world wants to see your lively face, wants to connect eyes with your inner self, heart dancing with joy for the music coming from you. Aging. From this side of youth, beautiful becomes you. Dry fields rejoice in gray skies promising rain. Sunshine needs you to understand rainbows. So that's a bunch of them. I've got one more I'm going to read for you. This is just kind of a send-off with this too. It's another one that I wrote for Amy. It's kind of all I'm doing right now. It's fine. I'm fine with it. Distinguishing. You are the light between forest, seas, trees, the space around raindrops instead of waterfalls. If you didn't breathe, there would be no words to make meaning, and just the one sustained kiss instead of many. Yet, each beat of your heart against my heart makes me lose track of you and me. Only music remains. All right, thanks you guys.
Okay, well, thanks. Let's give John and Steve both another hand. Okay, so we'll take a short break, about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back for Charles Castle's book launch.